I really love the rainy days, especially when the rain falls early in the morning or in the afternoons, but I won't deny my fear of storms. I have lived long enough to witness the devastation caused by storms, and the roaring sky combined with lightning scares the hell out of me. Thunderstorms in the countryside always result in power outages, which make the evenings even more scary. On calm rainy days, I like to get myself cozy and just enjoy some simple baking or just sipping my tea as I watch the rain fall. But on days like this, I like to distract myself by indulging in some real cooking. On our dinner menu today is roasted meat. We always like to roast our meat before making stews out of it, just because it tastes better. Roasted meat, known as nyama choma here in Kenya, is a popular delicacy in many restaurants around and even in the cities. So my meat is ready to eat, though I want to go a little extra and make a stew. This kind of stew is very expensive when you go to the restaurants out there in the cities. I had to pause and let that pass. So there's roasted meat, which is called athola, and then there's the sun-dried meat, which is called alia. People usually confuse the two. What I'm making today is athola. So basically, you roast the meat and make a stew out of it. If you're married to a Luo man and you want to keep him, then you better learn this recipe. It's one of those foods that is loved by everyone in my community. I always soak my roasted meat in warm water just for a little bit to remove the soot before cooking. While it soaks, I'll go ahead and prepare the onions. The more the better. So I'm using 2 large onions and I'm just gonna slice them up and chop them so that they're fine. You don't have to worry about how you cut your onions, that doesn't really matter. Just like Italians, we use a lot of tomatoes in our stews. You can chop your tomatoes up or you can grate or blend them, whichever way you're going to have your good soup. The number of tomatoes you use depends on the amount of meat you have. I have 1 kilogram of roasted meat, so I'm going to use 3 medium-sized tomatoes, and they are very ripe. If you want thick and the best soup, then you're gonna use ripe tomatoes. I would have wished to blend them. Unfortunately, the power is already out. I'm using a solar lamp right now. So I will go ahead and just cut them. And the only difference with the blended tomatoes is that these ones will have to cook a little longer so that they can break down nicely and form soup. I'm making very natural food today, so there won't be spices. All I'm going to add to these natural ingredients of mine is pepper, which is also fresh from the garden, and a bit of salt to taste, which is also optional. I know there are guys who don't like salt in their food. So there's this day we had a storm and I was using my phone while it was plugged on the socket. I think that was my most scary experience with storms. There was thunder and all of a sudden there was a ball of fire on the socket and I just felt current running through my body. I could literally feel them through my fingers and moving through my hands into my body. I don't know how my phone left my hands, but I remember really looking for my phone after that. I think I just threw it away as I scampered for safety. They always taught us to not stand under trees while it rained, but nobody ever prepared me for something like this. I thought being indoors was kind of safe. And I always thought we had arresters installed in our houses in cases of things like this, but looks like they're not safe. So I'm sharing this to help someone, because these days we spend like every second with our phones in our hands. So if you have to use your phone while it's raining, then maybe you might have to unplug it. So let's make our stew. I'm going to heat a little oil in the pan. Then I'm just going to add in the onions to fry a bit before adding my tomatoes. I will allow the tomatoes to cook a bit, and then I will add the pepper, though there is no harm in them going in together. This is just my way of doing it. I just added salt, and I'm going to let them cook until the tomatoes are soft enough, and then we can add the meat. Our meat is in, so I'm just gonna turn it until it's well mixed with the cooking tomatoes, and then we're going to add water and let it simmer for about 1 hour. I love when my food cooks slowly under low heat. It allows the food to absorb the flavors and become really soft and tasty. So I'll add a generous amount of water to allow the meat to cook until soft. And while it cooks, I'm going to fetch vegetables. The rain is kind of subsiding, so let's go out and fetch some vegetables. I always love those different sounds that come with the falling rain on the ground, in containers, on the roof. I just love those sounds. I find them really therapeutic and quite relaxing, especially when I want to sleep. It's common and very normal for vegetables to have bugs, so I always sort my vegetables one by one, and I always add some salt to the water. Salt kills bugs, so if there are any bugs in your vegetables, you will definitely see them floating in the water, so you don't have to cook them. It's so disgusting eating vegetables and finding bugs in them. So let me know how you sort your vegetables or how you get rid of the bugs. This is just my way that I've shared with you. After washing in the salt water, then I give them a pure water rinse and just cut them up, ready to cook. My vegetable today is collard greens, and I want to share with you my recipe of how I make the tastiest green collard greens. So I first fry onions in oil, and then I add the vegetables that I've cut so finely. To enjoy the goodness and flavor of the tomatoes, I add them on top of the vegetables, not on the oil. Then I add salt and seasoning and just mix them well. But I don't let it cook for a very long time. I just give it about 5 minutes and it is ready. In this method of cooking, you don't lose the color of the vegetables. You also retain the flavors of all the vegetables that you've used in this recipe. It really tastes great. Please try it out and let me know. Or better still, you can also share with me your collard green recipe. I also like to try things out, and if there's a better way to cook it, then I will appreciate that. And just like that, our vegetable is ready to eat, and looks like we're gonna have a storm tonight still. The sky is really pregnant. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up and let me know what you think about my 2 recipes for dinner tonight. Otherwise, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next. Bye bye.